Hello everyone, I am Angela Rugasyan, one of the English teachers at high school number 1 in Gymruu. Hope you are in perfect well-being and in high spirits regardless of lockdown and emergency state. Considering your spare time in these days, I recommend all the students and teachers as well watch the film Dead Poets Society. I love this film very much. So, cheer up and let's go on our today's lesson. The grammatic material for this lesson is the difference of use between gerunds and infinitives. These are the points that we are going to discuss. ing form or infinitive, infinitives after prefer, would, rather, had better, and infinitives of purpose. Let's enlarge each point. The first is about some verbs, noun and adjective phrases which are usually followed by the ing form. I am reading the examples. I have finished writing my essay. I enjoy reading. Would you mind closing the door? And suggested going to the cinema. I wrote writing, reading, closing, going after the verbs finish, enjoy, mind, suggest. But the negative form will be not plus ing. Example, when I am on holiday, I enjoy not having to get up early. Here are the verbs after which we use ing form. Admit, delay, dislike, fancy, involve, miss, resist, avoid, deny, enjoy, feel like, postpone, appreciate, detest, escape, finish, mention, practice, suggest, can't help, face, mind, understand, discuss, risk, etc. Please remember these verbs, after which we use ing form. Next point is about where we also use ing after prepositions. There are many prepositions, but I mentioned some of them. Give up means stop, put off means postpone, go on the same, continue, keep on to something continuously. I am reading the sentences. I've given up reading newspapers. I think it's a waste of time. Teachers don't want to retire. They want to go on working. I went to the park after going to school. He's thinking of buying a new car. And I'll call you before arriving at the office. I wrote reading, working, going, buying, arriving, after, up, on, after, of, before prepositions. Next is about where we can use the ing form as the subjects of sentences. Going is great fun. Reading is a hobby for me. Cooking and reading are the subjects of these sentences. Next point is about some verbs which are followed by the full infinitive. Don't forget these verbs. Able, afford, agree, appear, arrange, ask, attempt, beg, choose, decide, encourage, expect, feel, happen, help, hope, manage, offer, plan, pleased, prepare, pretend, wish, promise, refuse, seem, tend, want, would like. Please don't forget these verbs. I am reading examples. Anne pretended not to see me when she passed me in the street. It was late, so we decided to take a taxi home. I wrote to see, to take after the verbs pretend and decide. Next point is about the verbs which are usually followed by an object plus bare infinitive. After feel, hear, let, make, see, watch and notice, we use bare infinitive. Let somebody do something, but allow permit somebody to do something. Make somebody do something, but force somebody to do something. Examples. Mother made me clean the room. I heard Peter sing a song. Let me go. But be careful here that in the passive, hear, make, and see are followed by the full infinitive. I was made to stand in the corner. I was made to stand in the corner. In the passive, we wrote to stand. Don't forget about it. Here, these verbs feel, hear, notice, see and watch can also be followed by the ing form. We often use ing form for an action in progress at the time. Examples. I heard Anne telling Kate not to do that. I heard only part of it. But I heard Anne tell Kate not to do that. I heard all of it. Another example. I didn't notice you entered the classroom. We used enter without to after notice. Then, the next point is about some verbs which can be followed by either ing or the full infinitive with little or no change in meaning. These verbs are begin, intend, can't stand, also can't bear, love, continue, prefer, hate, start. Don't forget these verbs. Examples. I prefer reading or I prefer to read. There is no difference of meaning. I hate being late or I hate to be late. They have the same meaning. It started raining or it started to rain. It started to rain. Watch out here that we don't often use ing after ing. And another example sentence is when he read the note, he started laughing. When he read the note, he started to laugh. There is no difference of meaning. Next is about some verbs. We use full infinitives after them or ing from with a change in meaning. These verbs include consider, forget, imagine, learn, like, mean, regret, remember, stop, teach, try. Examples. When I say remember to do, it is not the same remember doing. I remember to pay the bills and I remember paying the bills. When I say remember to do, I talk about future action. But when I say remember doing something, I talk about completed, finished action in the past. Also, another examples. I will never forget playing my first soccer match. Oh no, Grandma, I forgot to buy the butter. Another examples. I will try to do it tomorrow. I tried cooking this new dish. When I use infinitive after try, it implies to make an effort. When I use gerund after try, it means to experiment with something. Stop smoking is not the same stop to smoke. When I say he stopped smoking last year, it means he gave up smoking. But when I say he stopped to smoke when he was driving, he stopped his car in order to smoke. He stopped one action for another action. Next point is about some expressions where we, after them, we use infinitive without to. After had better, would rather. Examples. Shall we go today? I would rather wait till tomorrow. You had better start at once, he said. Had better is used to give strong advice or tell people what to do, including ourselves. Would rather means would prefer to, but after would prefer we use the full infinitive, though there is no difference of meaning. At this point, we'll just remember that after auxiliary and modal verbs, after the following auxiliary and modal verbs, we'll use infinitive without to. Can, could, may, might, must, needn't, shall, should, will and would. Examples. He can run very fast. We needn't clean our room. But I don't need to come to the meeting. When we use after need infinitive without to, we have modal verb need. But when we use infinitive with to full infinitive, we have an ordinary verb need. He needs to work harder if he wants to make progress. It means it is necessary for him. We also use ing form after need. Example, the batteries in the radio need changing. It needs to be done. Take note about these points. infinitive is used with to. After modal verbs, be able to, have to, ought to. Example, we had to get up early yesterday. We also use infinitive with to after adjectives, and this includes to plus adjective, adjective plus enough. Examples, the water is too cold to swim in. And we also can express this sentence in another way. The water is so cold that we can't swim in. Another example, he was strong enough to lift it. Adjective plus enough. We also use infinitive after the first, the last, the only, the best. Gagarin was the first to fly in a spaceship. Look at this picture, where it's plus adjective plus full infinitive. Examples. It's important to read the instructions. It's fascinating to meet you again. It's boring to watch this film. It's interesting to read this book. And so on. Let's go to the next point, where after some verbs we can use or they can be used with a question word plus full infinitive. We use this structure especially after ask, decide, know, remember, forget, explain, learn, understand, wonder. Examples. We asked how to get to the station. I don't know whether to apply for the job or not. Have you decided where to go for your holiday? Also, we can use show, tell, advise, teach somebody what, how, where to do something. We put an object between show and the question word. Example, can somebody show me how to change the film in this camera? This is the last point of our lesson. When we want to talk about someone's purpose, the reason they do something, we can use the full infinitive, in order plus full infinitive, so as plus full infinitive. Examples. I went to university to avoid getting a job. I went to university in order to avoid getting a job. I went to university so as to avoid getting a job. We can also express the same idea using so that, as I mentioned above about this point. I went to university so that I could avoid getting a job. But with a negative purpose, we don't normally use the full infinitive on its own. Example, I went to university in order not to get a job. I finished explaining our lesson, but I'll give you 2 tests for checking your skills. Here you will complete using the correct form ing form or full infinitive of the verb in brackets. And second test, you will fill the verbs in the text. I hope you liked my lesson, and I'm sure we'll meet again. Thanks for your attention, be healthy and stay at home. Goodbye.